Science is supposed to enlighten, but sometimes it goes too far. Behind locked doors and hidden labs, the world has seen experiments so cruel, so unpredictable, that they had to be stopped permanently. This is not science fiction. These were real, and they were never meant for public eyes. Here are 10 real-life experiments that were too dangerous to continue. 1. The Russian sleep experiment. Urban myth, but inspired real trials. In post-World War II Soviet Russia, a rumored experiment kept prisoners awake for 15 days using a stimulant gas. Though the Russian sleep experiment is often labeled a creepypasta, it mirrors real experiments on sleep deprivation and their horrific consequences. In the 1950s, the US military tested how long subjects could function without sleep. The results: psychosis, heart failure, death. Sleep deprivation became recognized as torture. Unit 731, Japan's secret war lab. During World War II, Japan's Unit 731 conducted lethal experiments on prisoners. Vivisections without anesthesia, frostbite tests, plague bombs dropped on villages. It's estimated over 200,000 deaths are linked to Unit 731. So horrifying were the details that after the war, the US granted immunity to scientists in exchange for the data. The experiment stopped, but the horrors remain sealed in classified files. 3. The Monster Study. 1939, University of Iowa, researchers tested if speech therapy could create or cure stuttering. They used orphaned children as subjects, some praised, others constantly criticized. The result? Perfectly fluent children began stuttering permanently. The trauma endured was so intense, the university issued an apology decades later. The experiment was buried for years under the name The Monster Study. 4th, Project MK Ultra, CIA mind control. From the 1950s to the 70s, the CIA ran a covert program testing LSD, hypnosis, and sensory deprivation on both volunteers and unwitting civilians. Their goal? Mind control and interrogation enhancement. Some subjects were left with permanent mental damage. One man, Frank Olson, mysteriously fell from a 13th floor hotel window after being unknowingly dosed. Was it suicide or something darker? Public outcry forced MK Ultra to shut down, but not before 80 institutions were involved. 5. The Stanford Prison Experiment. 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo simulated a prison with student volunteers as guards and prisoners. It was meant to last 2 weeks. By day 3, the guards were abusing power, humiliating, tormenting the prisoners. Zimbardo let it continue until his own girlfriend protested. It ended after 6 days. The conclusion: even good people, given authority, can turn cruel, fast. 6. The Milgram Obedience Study, 1961. How far will people go when obeying authority? Subjects were told to shock a person, an actor, for wrong answers. With each mistake, the shock increased, up to lethal voltage. Most participants continued, even when the victim screamed. The experiment exposed a chilling truth. People will inflict harm if ordered to. The emotional damage to participants sparked ethical debates for decades. 7. The Aversion Project, South Africa. Under apartheid, the South African military forced gay soldiers into treatment. This included electric shock therapy, chemical castration, and hormone torture. Over 900 soldiers were victims. The truth only came out in the 1990s, after whistleblowers and surviving victims told their stories. The experiment was banned, but the trauma was irreversible. 8. Harlow's Pit of Despair, 1960s. Psychologist Harry Harlow studied love and isolation. He placed baby monkeys in total darkness and isolation chambers, some for months. They came out permanently damaged, curled in corners, unable to connect. He called one chamber the Pit of Despair. Harlow's work proved love is essential for development. But at what cost? 9. Tuskegee Syphilis Study, 1932 to 1972. 600 black men were told they were receiving treatment for bad blood. In truth, doctors withheld treatment to observe the effects of untreated syphilis. Even after penicillin was discovered, they were left to suffer. Many died. Others went blind or insane. The study lasted 40 years. It ended only after a whistleblower exposed it to the media. The backlash led to new ethical standards in human research. 10th Soviet nuclear exposure tests, 1950s. In secret Cold War trials, Soviet scientists exposed soldiers to lethal radiation levels to test nuclear survival. Some were forced to march through fallout zones. Others were given radioactive pills. Most died from cancers, organ failure, or unknown illnesses. Documents surfaced only after the USSR fell. No one was ever punished. These were not experiments from mad scientists in horror films. They were real, conducted by respected doctors, funded by governments, backed by institutions. Each one started with a question that humanity wasn't ready to answer. What's the line between curiosity and cruelty? And how many more experiments are still hidden in the dark? If you believe truth deserves light, hit like, subscribe, and share. Let's make sure the world never forgets what science should never become.